I'm Matthew.
And I'm CJ.
And we're Pacifico.
We're here talking through each track from our first full-length record.
Giving you all the inside information, everything that you wanted to know about what went into making Thin Skin and an Open Heart.
Let's do this. Alright, it's our first full-length Pacifico album. Tell me what brought all this on.
So Pacifico started in 1999, and I'm a huge fan of music. I always wanted to have a full length, but we either only did EPs or split EPs, or did demos for labels. When Anthology came out, it was a compilation of all the songs that we had done for labels, and I guess that could be considered a full length, but it wasn't recorded as a full length, and none of the songs were. I guess maybe 3 or 4 of the songs at the time were recorded together, but they weren't meant
conceptually. It wasn't.
Yeah. So I always wanted to record a full length. I had gotten with a label called Al-Alam, and they wanted to release a full length Pacifico. They had previously done the Face Down EP, and he was interested in moving forward and doing a full length. They actually started with Anthology, and they put that out. And then they wanted to do something original, so then we did the Face Down EP, and then he wanted a full length. So this was the third release on Al-Alam. He wanted a full length record, and I wanted to do a full length record. He asked me who I wanted to record with, and I was like, I can just name anybody. And he's like, well, just tell me, maybe we can think of some people that would be similar to that or whatever. And so I kind of named some stupid stuff, like I thought Dr. Dre would be a great person to record it with, but to have him do something that wasn't hip hop, would be kind of cool. But yeah, Jason Martin from Starflight 59 was one of the people on the list, and he ended up saying, I think I know somebody that can get me in contact with him. And so
interesting.
He contacted him and played him some of my music, and he liked it. And so then that's kind of how that started.
Interesting. And then so you were in North Carolina, you moved out there for a band, and that kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
So then you were like, I'll just slap Pacifico name on a full-length album?
So Pacifico had broken up. The band had done their, kind of gone their separate ways and such. And then I joined this band called Monday in London, and we were doing stuff, and then we had broken up. And the label, I think Al-Alam had messaged me while I was with them and wanted to work with Pacifico, but we wasn't really a band. But I kept the name because the name was given to me by the drummer, Joel Walker, and that was kind of like my pseudonym for my music. And I really liked the idea. I never liked the idea of being my own name. Mm-hmm. And I had the website and merchandise, so I was like, I'm going to keep the name, I'm going to move forward with it. So I'd already released like the Face Down EP and stuff, so I'd already moved forward without the Pacifico guys. I think the first thing I did was a cover of a song, I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. That was the first thing that I did without the other guys.
Who played on that?
It was Jeremiah Edmond, who was one of my best friends, and he ended up joining Manchester and playing the drummer for a while. Manchester Orchestra, for those don't know what I'm talking about. And then my buddy Trevor Dowdy.
Right.
That played with us for a little bit. He went on tour with us and played on the Without Heroes album.
I remember you working on the Tom Petty track. You're like doing the slow version of that. And
yeah.
I was like, okay,
We were asked to do a compilation. It was an 80s compilation, and that song came out in 89, so it just barely made it. But I don't know, the band was broken up, and I don't think any of the guys had really cared, and I was just like, I'll do it. And so I got with my buddy, and I don't know, it was just one of those things that was kind of in my head and just kind of came to fruition. But
that's the part that's interesting to me, is like you get moved past Pacifico, you joined the band, and then you just
came back
to it.
Yeah, I think it was because when when we started Pacifico, that all started as a side project. I was in a band with Joel. I played bass and did background vocals, and he played drums. And they had asked for other people to help contribute to songwriting, and they didn't really like my songwriting. But he loved it, and he's like, "Man, you have really great songwriting. You need to do something with this." And I'd been in a band before I wrote. My brother sang, but nothing ever happened with that. And so I kind of maybe that's the thing. Maybe I need to do my own thing. So he kind of pushed me, and so I think that from that point forward, I realized that Pacifico was was my thing. Like that was like my pseudonym. You know, like
Yeah.
that's what my music shall always be released under, because that's who I am and what I do. And so I think it was a kind of a no-brainer to use that name. And of course, it was easy because I had a website and merch and
Right.
stuff. But and maybe a little bit of a name at the time. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think that's why I came back to it. And when they broke up and I was moving towards a full length, I was super stoked, because even with Monday Lemon, we never did a full length. I always wanted to do that. That was kind of like the holy grail for me. You know, like every band that I loved had a full length. And when I listen to music, like I know that now not many people listen to full lengths, but I still do. I love like an album that from beginning to end is a conceptual piece. And so I started writing songs, or had songs written, that I kind of cultivate what goes well together, what works together. And when Samuel came back to me and told me that Jason Martin would produce this, I started sending him demos of stuff, and he kind of helped me. Well, that's a great song, yeah, kind of thing. And we kind of just picked out 12 songs and 12 and a half songs, which has also been a Pacifica thing. Every album I've done has had 12 and a half songs on it.
Oh, interesting. I was going to ask, how many songs do you have total that whittled down the album? Did you just have the 12 and that was it?
No, I'm sure I had more. I always have more.
Yeah.
You and I know, actually, this summer we recorded 4 songs that I started in 2005, which would have been the first full length, but then I got scrapped. I was recording with Jeremiah, and I had picked out songs, and those got scrapped. Some of them ended up on this album, and some of them never found their way, but some of those songs were still in the fighting. And then there's probably, it was probably around the same time too that I came to your house and went in your basement and I recorded demos for every song that I had. Do you remember this? It was in your parents' basement when you lived there, and we went to your basement, and I literally, like, you just pressed record, and I just would like play song after song after song, and I probably recorded like 50 plus songs in your basement. Just sketches of anything that I had. I think you and I talked about it, and I was like, I have all these things and I don't have a way to record it, and you're like, just come to my house and we'll do it. And so we just recorded everything that I had, and I've got those demos still, and some of them have ended up in things later, like Sea Song ended up on Without Heroes, and that was recorded as a demo at that time. And the song Suddenly ended up, it was lost. It was a song that was recorded with the Pacifica guys. It was the last recording we did all together, and that was actually the recording we did together was actually found and remixed and mastered, and that'll come out next year. And you know, so I mean, like, yeah, but those songs, I mean, I guess at some point everything is in the making for being an album. You just go, no, that one's not gonna work. That one's not gonna work. I think for me, I kind of find like what sonically works together and what tonally works together, and then when lyrics start getting involved, that lyrics is always the last thing for me. But sometimes even when I'm making demos like we did, like I've been working on these songs for months, sometimes years, and I'm saying the same things over and over. And even if there aren't words, there are certain things that I have been saying that kind of lead me to go, okay, so this song's going to be about that. Whether or not I've written it yet, it is about that. So trying to find something that kind of, you know, and Thin Skin and Open Heart is very much about what people are going through and my friends and what they've been going through. And I think just what would you deal with in your early to mid 20s.
Yeah. So you had a record label to push you, you had the desire to make an album, you had somebody to produce it.
Yeah.
And then how did that, we've talked about it, but like how did you and I have like a relationship that still started at that point? That's always can't quite remember.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you just asked me to play on it, and I
yeah. So you and I met through an ex-girlfriend of mine. You were friends and in a band with her brothers, and I think I remember meeting you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I remember meeting you one day at her parents' house on the back porch, and they had like a big get together. I think it was a cookout, and her and I came and met. I think it was maybe the first time I met her family too. It was all like at one time meeting all these people, kind of thing. But anyway, met you guys, and through the talk we found out we had actually played shows together before, and then since then we played several more. And when I first saw you guys play, I thought you were an amazing guitar player. I always thought you were super talented. But when we formed a pretty thin relationship at that point. But then you started working at the law firm that I worked. And I think that's when our relationship kind of like, you and I became really good friends. We started talking a lot, going to breaks. I think we even commuted to work a couple times together. And So started becoming good friends then, and then around that time was when your band broke up, and I was starting this kind of stuff. And I think the first time we played together, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I have a terrible memory, but I played some, I want to say it's a church, but some like rec hall in Lou,
South Georgia or whatever, Peachtree City.
And Lou Dave Fabrizio played too, and somebody else. I don't even know who else.
Wait, so did we both travel to Georgia to do that?
You were still here. Okay. You hadn't moved yet. You were just about to move.
Okay.
It was like right before you moved to Florida, and you came and you. I asked you if you wanted to play with me because I think it was like I just newly was like I had a show, but I didn't have a band, and I don't think I'd ever done that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, you play guitar. Do you want to like come and be my?
Josh played.
That's played. Right. Yeah. What was his last name? LeBlanc?
No.
I don't know. It's gonna feel terrible.
No.
We're just gonna put it at the bottom down here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it down here. He is great. He is great kid. So we'll put it down the bottom. But I asked you, and you said you would play with me, and I don't even know if we had. I think we rehearsed a little bit, but I don't think we rehearsed that much. And you showed up and you played with me. I think you played electric, and I played acoustic. Maybe both acoustic.
Yeah.
I don't know. We played together, and it went really well. But I don't know that we did anything else after that. I mean, if we did, maybe one or two, but I don't think really. And then you moved to Florida. I think I moved to North Carolina, and then my band broke up, and I don't know. I was just like, how do I do this? I was lucky enough with the producer. He had a bass player and a drummer, so half the band's there. But I kind of liked the idea of including someone that I trusted and that was a friend of mine. And you and I had, we really honestly, it's so weird because I think most of our friendship really blossomed from from working at the law firm, and then when you moved, usually that kind of severs things. But you and I talked a lot.
We're still talking.
Yeah,
for sure.
Working through I'm going to school and this sucks, and and all that kind of crap. And so I just called you and asked if you wanted to do it, and it's one of those things that like Hail Mary, like, hey, I got no money. I can offer you nothing.
Yeah. I'm also wondering how I scraped it up to.
I don't either because you were going to school, and I think Carrie was in school too. Your wife, wasn't she? I think she was in nursing school or whatever. So like you guys were both in school. I'm pretty sure, living in Florida, and I'm like, if you want to fly to California on your own dime, I might be able to
drive with me an hour a day.
I might be able to get you a place to stay. I don't know. And I really honestly counted on you saying no, and I think it was very surprising when you did say yes, because I was like, oh, okay.
Cool. And my motto is just always say yes.
Yeah. So I think that was really cool for me though, because it wasn't, because I was super scared. I'm making my first full length. I'm working with one of my heroes. I'm halfway across the world. I know the only person I know is my friend Brandy, who I had met when we moved to California in 2003, and I knew her for like a month or two, and then moved away. And I don't even know if I think maybe saw her once more between that. So I don't, I know her, but I don't know her. I mean, we talked on the phone and stuff. We definitely were good friends, but it wasn't super tight, and she wasn't in the studio with me every day. So it was a little scary, and to have you show up and give me, especially because like you said, you showed up like a week late. So you're there and you're hearing this stuff, and for you to go, oh man, that sounds great. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not all.
I don't think I had any of it beforehand or anything to practice to or be prepared for.
Yeah, maybe not. It was pre, now I can send you stuff online so easily. But back then, I think I would have had to mail you a CD.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got the final tracks for this album, he mailed me DVDs of the stuff.
Amazing.
So.
Yeah, I just remember coming in and so much of it was done, which is great. I just had to put my sweetness on top of it, but you were happy to see me, but the other guys were not necessarily as inviting initially.
You're like, who is this guy?
Yeah, which is always my lot in life apparently, just to come in and everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? But quickly it was just a really good time. I mean, it was, really casual and easy and fun, and, there's definitely aspects I think both of us wish were better, or, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's going to open our eyes. The first full length, and it's...
Yeah, it happened, for sure. I mean, what would you, in hindsight, if we were doing it now, because obviously you and I have worked together now because that was the first time we worked together, that was 11 years ago. What would you, how would you have changed some things or done things different?
I mean,
It's all
I
of it.
don't think
I don't think I
would
would
have
have
known to do anything. You know, we just brought the skill sets we had at the time.
Yeah,
you know?
so true. Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, I can do that at a
Yeah.
different, you know.
I think a lot of what we learned was not even so much like there definitely are some of it. I know that I can do this and I can do that, but some of it also is like it's okay if it doesn't work. We're okay to take chances now, and back then it was like I don't want to take a chance. What
Right.
happens if it messes everything up?
And you have your own agenda. You know, you're like, I need to show that I can play all the notes in the world, or I can hit all the. You know, now it's like, oh, what's the song doing? You know, like
Yeah.
we're surfacing the song better now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the experience was great stuff. We should talk about the earthquake we went through.
Yeah, we did have
I
an
remember
earthquake. Yeah, we were in the studio, and I think it was on. We were. Was that when we were making
I
the
guess
beat?
it's when we were making the beat. Yeah.
Yeah, we were making the beat for the last song on the album, which is called "Close Your Eyes and Dream," and
So they like walked outside, had a smoke break.
yeah, they always do
You
smoke
guys do your
breaks.
thing.
Yeah, I think that this was definitely them being like, oh, all right, whatever, kind of thing. But they let us have his computer, and we were working on a beat, and then we had an earthquake, and that's the only earthquake I've ever been in.
Probably one of the. I mean, it's probably the biggest one I've been through.
Yeah, definitely the biggest. It was so weird. I felt like I was like in a funny house.
Everything
there was
was wiggly.
There's a steel beam, like a steel beam in this place that like
in the middle. That's right.
and it was doing like wiggling like this,
Yeah.
and I was like, I mean, like I might as well have had vertigo or been on some shrooms or something. I was like, what is this?
I remember we were like, did a truck drive by?
Yeah, we didn't know
And
what
we
it
walked
was.
outside, and Jason was like, "There's an earthquake."
That's totally how it was.
And both of us were like, "What?" You know?
Yeah,
It was a big earthquake.
Yeah.
But yeah, it very much was like very, like being underwater, kind of fluid. And, yeah.
Were you familiar at all with any of the players on the album? Were you intimidated at all about? I mean, like, so Jason plays in Starflyer. Steven now is in Starflyer, but he was in Project 86, and that's whose rehearsal space it was.
I remember the big Project 86 on the door going in.
And then the drummer Sam West, which we never met, but he was in Stavesaker. I mean, did you listen to those bands? Were you
I was pretty familiar. Intimidated, no, because I was just young and stupid and cocky and got a couple hot licks.
Got this.
I got this. And then, quickly
I don't
got
remember
the place.
there being any times where we needed a guitar part and it was any like I can do it better, or like I feel like it was pretty like Jason did I think most of the auxiliary kind of guitar parts, and you did all the main solos and anything that was more flowery.
Neatly,
I feel like,
which is, I'm always happy to do that. Just put my stuff on top of something good.
Yeah, I don't feel like there was any time where it was like, nah, let me see that.
Oh yeah, no, that. I don't think it is.
Either way,
Yeah.
The bass player, Steven, he did play guitar on. I don't remember. What
But
song
you were
it
there
was.
when he laid down the bass, right?
Yeah, I was there. He played the bass on one song. I want to say that it was either the beginning of Backtrack Back to Me or on Salvation Army, because it was like a dut dut dut, very very rhythmic. And he had done the bass part, and I was trying to do it, and I think Jason just let him do it. He did the bass part. He could play better to himself, and I have no ego. I mean, I played with bands with people long enough that I'm like, whatever. That is something that's good at least. Is I had some recording under my belt with Pacifico, and had five guys total that I had to kind of like work with, and so I think that kind of stuff didn't bother me as much. I definitely was about servicing the song, but it being my thing and me putting the money down, there were some points where I am still a little bit let down, not as much as I used to. It is what, like you said, it is. It's thin skin, open heart. It is what it is. Whatever. And through this whole thing where it's finally released it on vinyl, and it's been 11 years, and I've gone back and listened to it, and kind of like I am more proud of it than I like. My thoughts of it are like, oh gosh, it's my first album. It's not that great. But then I go listen, I was like, this isn't that bad. Like I should be pretty proud that this is the way this is.
I think my biggest takeaway after like re-listening a lot lately is just like, oh yeah, like so much of that album is what you've always continually done. Like the songs and the tones and the ideas and everything are just repeated. Not
I'm just regurgitating everything.
The same three songs. No, it is Pacifico. I mean, that's and you continue to do that same thing. So it's kind of like that's the blueprint for what you've continued to do.
Yeah, I think for me for that album in particular, the things that I'm most proud of are I got to work with one of my heroes. B, I recorded it in a state I don't live in, like California, and I feel like you can hear California in it. I don't know if I was on B or 3. That like I have songs in there that were challenging, you know, like Babylon, which is the piano song in there, or Close Your Eyes and Dream, which is the organ song. Previous to that, I was in a rock band. We played guitar rock songs, and if we had keyboards, they were just auxiliary. They were not.
And none of those guys would ever let you guys.
No, probably not. No, they would have probably taken a song like that and changed it. You know, even I had written songs like, you know, We Are the Easily Forgotten that had that more 60s kind of feel, but they'd always taken that and been like, okay, yeah, but we're going to do it like this, and they turned it into like a glam rock kind of thing. And I think that's what we did, and that was our thing, and that was cool. But I'd always kind of wanted to push that envelope and stuff. And so I am very proud of the fact that we were able to do those things. The harmonies are great. I love the fact that, so Brandy, the girl I stayed with and that sang vocals on 3 of the songs on the album, I had met her when we first moved to LA with Pacifica. We moved out there with a manager. We got screwed. It's a long story. It's not going to be on this. But basically, she got me a job while we lived there, working at the Starbucks on City Walk at Universal Studios.
Park, right? Yeah.
And I met her because she's literally the one that, you know, she showed me where to, you know, go to this computer, fill out the thing, and then I actually failed because I answered the questions like, do you like people? No. Do you want to deal with people? Fuck no. You know, like, oh, sorry. Do you want to deal with people? No, I do not. And all that kind of stuff. And but she was so sweet, and she's like, come back and whatever, a long time, you know, next day or 2 days more, and do it again, but answer it like this. And she was so sweet. She got me the job, and we remained friends and talked a bunch and stuff. And she has a great voice. Like, we did karaoke together when I was living there and stuff. And so I don't know, like, I love including my friends. I love collaboration. That's the thing that I think that when Pacifico became this thing, you know, from 2000, maybe 8 when Face Down came out, but definitely 2009 when this came out till now, collaboration is what it's about. And to be able to include my friends that are also super talented, that their voices need to be heard, whether or not, you know, it's vocally or, you know, through your guitar or, you know, ideas of production or whatever. Like, I just really wanted her voice on there, and I definitely felt like I heard it on some songs. I mean, like, on Something's Going Wrong Again, I really wanted like a David Bowie kind of thing, where her voice, you know, came and did a repeat kind of thing, and like, it just, and I'm so glad that she's on there now. When I hear her on Caroline O and I hear her harmonizing with me, I'm like, that's so perfect. And that was, again, when I brought her to the studio, that was again another thing where Jason was like, okay, you know, and he gets her, and then she sang, and he's like, whoa, because she's a singer. I mean, she just came in, she did her job, and done. There was no like, you're a little flat, can you, nothing. She just nailed it right off the bat. And so then he was like, can I get your number? I might use you for some stuff. I don't think he ever did, but like, that was like, for me, was like, I felt so much better, like being with a hero that like, not only he heard my songs, was like, all right, I'll do his stuff. So that was already like, okay, so I can write some decent songs. All right, good. And then I'm there, and we're able to work well together. And my ideas where he's like, I don't know, like, you know, like doing that drum beat that we did that we made up for Close Your Eyes and Dream, or the part on Babylon where it falls apart that he was unsure about, or, you know, having you show up or having her show up, things like that where he was unsure about, to like be like, just trust me. And then he's like, I don't know, I've been doing this for a while. And then him be like, oh, okay, this works.
Sure, yeah.
That meant,
validate what you do.
Yeah, that meant a lot, and it kind of helped me a lot. He certainly shaped my way of production. His whole idea of percussion was big for him. He's like, you know, we're gonna do a shaker throughout the whole song and tambourine on every chorus. I mean, that's pretty much, if you listen to this album, I think that's how every song is. I mean, there will be some variations here and there, but pretty much a verse is gonna have shaker, the chorus is gonna have shaker and tambo, verse is gonna have shaker, you know, that kind of thing. And I took that, and when we did Without Heroes, I did exactly that. Everest, we definitely changed it a lot, because I was just trying to push us and be like, well, how long can I stretch without this breaking? It's pretty much what I was like trying to do. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
Any other thoughts or
I don't know,
things about this album?
I'm sure there's like many Jason Martin stories we could.
Yeah.
But we don't have to. I don't know. I mean, for me, again, it's just like foundationally what has become Pacifica was just like right there. You know?
I like that. I think that you're right. I think that when I listen to our albums, they all kind of sonically do fit within a particular
Yeah.
thing. We could talk about when I got the flat. So we had a Rent-A-Wreck, which is a car that literally is probably the crappiest car I've ever driven, much less rented. And we were at the studio and we walked out one day and it had a flat. And so then we had to put on a spare and take it to a tire place and we got it fixed. And then when I returned it, the guy got mad. I gave him the receipt and everything. He got mad that I did that. I think we tried to call. We did. We tried to call and no one answered. And so we're like, well, what do we do? We'll just take care of ourselves and get him a receipt and have him pay us back.
Yeah.
But the guy that owned the place was super sweet and took care of it. But we just walked it while we waited for them to do the car. We walked around some mall for hours. You remember that? Also? We just walked around some mall, and then we went to it was a hotel that was connected to the mall somewhere in Riverside, and there was a piano, and we played the piano a little bit. It was really just doing nothing. I don't think we had any other sightseeing things. Oh, we did. We went and saw so we saw Space Hog play.
They reunited for a bit. Yeah,
that was
the
great.
Viper Room.
The Viper Room. Yeah, that was a great show.
That was great.
Yeah, we showed up. It wasn't. Was it sold out? It might have been, but it didn't feel super packed. But it was a great show, and it was.
It was also LA. Everyone walked in and was like, "Who are you here to see?" I'm like, "The main band."
Yeah,
who do you think we're like, no, they divided the money.
Yeah. But that was a great show. We did that.
We did that.
I don't think we did anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, together.
And just since we're making this, and whether we keep it or not, the artwork. So, I had been working with Trey Wadsworth, who did did the artwork for Thin Skin. I started working with him. I think the first thing he did for us was Anthology. The first thing I did for Al-Alam. And he was just a friend of a friend, and I was told that he did this, and I saw some of his work, and I thought, well, this guy's real talented. He now works for Adult Swim, so yeah, he is really talented.
So,
and so he pretty much, I think that our working relationship's been the same ever since we started working together. It literally, I give him the songs as early as I can and tell him to do whatever he wants. Yeah, what do you hear? I'm a big Radiohead fan, and I love the way that they do that with the guy that they have that works with them, which we'll put his name at the bottom. I don't remember his name right now either. It's a Stanley something or other. Anyway, but yeah, I just gave him the artwork, and gave him the songs and told him to just come up with whatever he wanted. And what he came up was what the artwork is for Thin Skin and Open Heart. It looks great. And yeah, we've done a couple albums. Actually, I guess we've done 2 albums already. We did the 1 EP for Monday in London, and we did the full length for Anthology and the B-sides, which was a bonus disc that came with it. But that's all we had done together so far. But yeah, he's been my guy, and the photography in it was done by some friends of mine in North Carolina called Lunazon Photography. They had, when I was in Monday in London, they just contacted me once and said, "Hey, can we come shoot a show of yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll put you on the list. Why not? Free photos, sure." And they did a great job, and then we stayed friends. And I think that I did their first professional photo shoot. I think it was for this album, and they did a wonderful job. I just walked around. It was the 3rd photo shoot I ever did by myself. I did 2 previous ones. One was not supposed to be Pacifico, but was used for it, and then another one was specifically for Pacifico, but was never used. But yeah, we just walked around Charlotte, and they took pictures of me in Charlotte, and then the surrounding area. And yeah, the picture on there is somewhere in downtown, and I don't know, somewhere.
You should be proud, buddy. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I think it turned out really awesome. The re-release, both our buddies, Daniel and Doris, did took Trey's artwork and made it for the vinyl. And then our buddy Matt Tuttle, who has done the mixing on the last 2 albums, Without Heroes and Everest, he took the original tracks from Jason Martin, who mixed and mastered it, and he remastered it for vinyl. And then we went to Pirate Press and had this made, and it looks and sounds great.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We have a record. And we have a video about the record. Cool. If you like this, check out the other videos. And thank you so much for liking our band. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you hear, please check out one of our other videos. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, Follow us on other social media. We're Pacifico Rock almost everywhere. And thank you so much for supporting independent music. Bye.
Bye.